goodness. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Oh man. Welcome to the program for those of you watching on video tonight. I started the broadcast about 8 minutes late. I'm so sorry. I had everything going and I was all ranting and everything. I forgot that I forgot to actually push the button and start the show. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. If you missed the first 8 minutes, you can go to blogtalkradio.com/daveinthecity to catch up and see how I started the program tonight. But we still have another 20 minutes to rant about Time Warner Cable, and then from there we'll figure out what to do. We'll just run this down one more time for those of you tuning in late. We have Kevin on the Cape joining us at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. At 10:30, we hope to be joined by Ari in Philadelphia to break down the MLB trade deadline. Other than that, it's just going to be me against Time Warner Cable for the rest of this hour. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy it. Okay, so this day has been really a day of disappointments, and this is beyond just what Time Warner Cable's been doing. I mean, I had a pizza at the local cafe here in, at UCLA. Oh, the UCLA is its own disappointment too. This goes back to yesterday. UCLA had a giant flood, and it was a mess. I mean, it wasn't UCLA's fault. It's not their fault. But the street just blew up. There's like a 30-foot hole in the middle of Sunset Boulevard, basically blocking off any access across any access across Bel Air at all. And then this huge geyser, you'd think that you were at Yellowstone, just erupted at about 3:30 yesterday afternoon. So this geyser just erupts, and then suddenly I couldn't even believe how much water was involved. I thought it'd be like, it'd be trickling, but there were like waterfalls on the steps of Pauley Pavilion, and parking structures are getting deluged, and it was just such a mess. I couldn't get over that. I was just mesmerized. I have to tweet back at one of our viewers that I forgot to actually put it on. Oh man. Oh yeah. So then now that you're all on live, I just want to remind you, 28 days until football season. That's exciting. 28 days until college football starts. We're not going to count the Georgia State versus some other random school game on Wednesday. We will start with the South Carolina-Georgia game on Thursday the 28th on on the SEC network. That's what we will start with, and that's August 28th. So we're really excited about that. So that's 28 full days, so basically a calendar month will elapse before the beginning of football season, and then you won't get enough of it. You'll have football for like 5 months, including the playoffs. And it'll be great. It'll be really great, and everybody's in on it. So we're looking forward to covering that with our college football preview program. That will begin with John in Connecticut and Ron in New Jersey. That's coming up right about August 14th, but I'm not exactly sure what the specific date is. We'll get that to you maybe about next week or the week after. So. Yeah, this flood, UCLA, I mean, we're actually fortunate in a lot of ways. The flood could have killed people, it didn't. It could have hurt people, it did not. It could have damaged a serious amount of property, and it did, but it wasn't so bad. It was not like those floods that you see like in the South or in the Midwest, where it just like, like it floods and you see like cars floating around and you see like a river. It wasn't quite that bad. I mean, there's a lot of stuff was soaked, but people did evacuate, but it wasn't like threatening. It wasn't life-threatening at any point in time. So we were very lucky there. The other area where we're lucky, it dried up really fast. It dried up really quickly. The next day, I mean, everything was just about okay. I keep saying wooden. Pauley Pavilion's court's probably ruined. You just have to replace that thing altogether. And the track, which they spent all this money upgrading, they just upgraded it like 2 months ago. This blue track, it's really nice at Drake Stadium. It's the track and field facility, when they do track and field events for UCLA athletics. Well, that track is gone. Like it's all submerged. It might be okay, but it's just filthy at this point. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do. Like, are they going to be able to take it and they're going to be able to replace it or what? But that area is closed for the time being. But people were still able to sneak up on there anyway and run on it. So I saw some people running during lunch hour. That was pretty interesting. UCLA is in a little bit of a tough spot. This is going to be a very expensive accident. And it's not even their fault. I'm pretty sure that City of Los Angeles will contribute to the cleanup efforts and other elements of it. It's just sad. It's ridiculous. It's just crazy how that happened. So with that in mind, I mean, my building was not affected. It was I was over there. It was not a big deal. I kind of went in there, and it didn't. Our side of campus is actually higher than the areas you saw on TV, which were affected. UCLA campus. So there's a really big elevation difference between the western side of campus and the eastern side of campus. And the western side of campus was, it's kind of down here, and there's a big hill, and Bruin Walk, gets you up that hill, and it takes you to the eastern side of campus, which is much higher, like, over 200 feet higher. And basically speaking, it wasn't really threatened for that reason. The main was burst over at Westwood Plaza. That's more towards the middle of campus, but it's at the bottom of said hill. So my two buildings are all like parallel, or really on the same line of longitude, and it really wasn't a big deal. We really didn't really have any real problem. The issue was really more with traffic that day, and getting out of it was not. Getting out of that traffic was not. It was a bit slower, but it wasn't too bad. So we managed okay. Happy to report, no, I don't think any of my colleagues really were affected too bad. The cars could have been destroyed if things had broken a little differently, especially if the cars were parked in lots 4 and 7, which are basically the lots that border the Poly Pavilion and the Wooden Center. So, and then SAC is covered by that too. SAC is a student activity center, which is a little bit to the east of Wooden, and so that's all around the middle of campus. And so there a lot of water went up there. The Bruin Plaza was like raging waters. Like people were like having their rafts. They were just floating around in there with like paddles and fins. It was just such a scene, but nothing serious in terms of injuries or any of that, or I can't speak to the damages to the buildings involved. Ash Center was in on that. They said that Ackerman got some of it. The UCLA bookstore had some of that problem. I think those areas are fine. Like, I don't think. In fact, I was at the bookstore today just to see if there was any water damage, and it didn't look like there was anything serious down there. Paulie got quite the brunt of it. It was, and the intramural fields did too, but that dried up very quickly. Paulie, wow. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna do with that. Like that, the basketball court's gonna have to be ripped up and replaced. They may have even done it before when in the middle of the renovation, but now they're gonna have to do it again. So I mean, that's gonna be a huge setback financially for UCLA athletics. They might cost them a recruit. It's hard to say. That really sucks. But everybody's safe. I don't think there's anything other than that. I mean, some people might be without water residentially. I don't think so at this point. Many accounts say that the people in homes nearby, like in Bel Air or in Westwood, got their water back, but I'm not sure. If you know, call us 424-258-9251. Let us know. Yeah, that's a little crazy. So, anyway. It's moments like that that really put things in perspective, but regardless, I'm still going to rant about Time Warner Cable because they still stink. I think they are just abysmal. We spoke in the first 10 minutes about why their television operations are ridiculous and their stranglehold and carriage agreements is brutal, and why they are just way too much of a bully with the way that they're trying to extort money out of other cable providers. I mean, neither one's a saint in this. DirecTV certainly is no saint. DirecTV, by the way, has their own issues with getting channels on the air. They had a long standoff with what was then called the Versus Network. Today it's called NBCSN. And Versus at that time was carried by Comcast before they bought NBC. And they had like a 3-month blackout of that channel. 3 months. It was right when I moved to LA. It was right around the year 2009. 3-month blackout. So it was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, this is ridiculous. Because as you know, I'm a Kings fan. So I follow the NHL. And I thought that they were going to go. I thought this could have gone into the NHL season and people couldn't watch games. It did go in the NHL season and people couldn't watch games, but the whole thing got resolved eventually before the playoffs. I mean, this is just a shade of the politics and stupidity and pettiness that's involved with cable operators, satellite providers, and content providers. It is just such a farce to be squabbling over, I don't know, like a difference like 35 cents a month in terms of carriage agreements. All this because of the greed that's involved with getting these things going. And now it's affecting a pretty prized part of Los Angeles. I mean, if you did this for the Pac-12 network, that's bad enough, but the Pac-12 network doesn't have enough high-profile programming to really make that a big deal. Doing it to the Dodgers is just bad. It makes the Dodgers look bad. It makes Major League Baseball look bad. It makes the city look bad. And it makes Time Warner Cable look bad. And all this for what? A couple extra bucks? I mean, think about it. Time Warner Cable is just so utterly clueless about this. They had the whole off season to figure this out. They had like years to figure this out. I'm pretty sure they were planning on getting a big television contract, and they were really poised to really take over LA with a new platform to get the Dodgers off of where they were at the time, KCAL and Fox Sports Net. So not planning that in advance, and that's typical of big corporations, big entities. That includes sports leagues. They do this too. I mean, the NFL waits until like the week before they're about to strike, and then they strike for like 3 weeks, and then they map it out. But it's like you could have figured this out sooner and had a better agreement, and you'd have been all right. It's just lunacy. It's just plain lunacy with what they do with these cable networks. But you know, the NBA will maybe have a little bit of a lockout for like 3 months, and then they end up with about a 50, 60 game season. This happened about 4 years ago, and it worked out fine. That was reasonable. This is not reasonable. Half the season is in the books. An extra month after half the season is in the books, and at this point, you're only beginning to get some kind of agreement to get the baseball team that belongs here on TV. I mean, it's so retarded. I mean, Time Warner Cable is so stupid about this whole thing. They want their money, and the secret behind all this, this is the worst kept secret in America, but the secret behind all this is that they're trying to get as many people to jump to their stupid service as possible. They're trying to milk as many customers to get over to Time Warner Cable as they can. And it is just so lame and so telegraphed. You can see it coming a mile away, and it's not working. I don't see anybody I know going, I am switching to Time Warner because of the Dodgers. We're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. My friends are not going to do it. It's not going to get done. So these people are fooling themselves. It's just such a mess. You know why it's not going to get done? Because everywhere I go, I see people telling me how much Time Warner Cable stinks. And people who have it don't pick it willingly. And nobody even tolerates it. Everybody hates Time Warner Cable's cable service. It is awful. It is pathetic. They barely get channels. And then when they get them, you can't find them. You ever try to find... I mean, I actually went to try Sportsnet LA when I went to my parents' house one time. They've had cable forever, since I was born. They have had cable for decades and decades. And the cable they had in the beginning was called Jones Intercable. It was run in Oxnard, California, blah, blah. And then they got taken over by some company. And I think it became Adelphia. And Adelphia went bankrupt, and then Time Warner Cable took them over. So when Time Warner Cable took over, it was a different story. And automatically we could see how what a piece of garbage it was. I mean, my parents and we all moved as a family to the new house. This is many years ago. We're still talking about 11 years ago. We moved to the new house, and it was exciting. But then we tried to get internet, and it was outrageous. It was awful. The thing ran at just barely above modem speed, and then it would go out every month. Every month, the internet would go out every month. You consider yourself a nationally known cable company who has basic internet service go out every month. Every month. And they would call, and they would be put on hold for about an hour, and then they would go through the script I'm sorry to hear your problem. Yeah, right, you're not sorry. What a joke. Every month, something would go wrong. And sometimes you'd have to go to the modem, and you have to unplug it, you have to plug it back in, and then you have to call in, you have to stay on the line, and then they got to reset some server in Florida. I mean, Time Warner Cable, get with the program. So bad. It's not as bad, but the cable quality, the internet quality itself stinks. I mean, again, when I'm over there, I can't even upload anything more than 2 megabytes. I try to upload anything at all, whether it's by FTP or Dropbox. I did it on Dropbox once, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna upload this PowerPoint file. No, it wasn't PowerPoint. It was a video file. It was 200 megabytes, and it choked. Seriously, the goddamn thing choked. And then all the lights went out on the modem, and I had to go over there. It's so embarrassing. I had to go over there and turn everything off and start it all over again just to get the internet back. I mean, how pathetic is that? We've replaced the cable modem since that time twice. We've replaced, my parents' house, and we've replaced the router, and it's still just bottlenecks. It's just so lame. We've called them over. Can you come over and fix it? And then they twist a screw and they do something. It looks a little different, but it doesn't really fix it. But you stink when you cannot even upload a basic video file that's not even a gigabyte in size without choking the network. It chokes the network. And I try to download stuff over there, and again, I had DSL at one point in time in Santa Barbara, and it wasn't really that great, but it was still, it was decent enough to do a basic download in a reasonable time. This thing would actually take longer than that. I'm like, this is outrageous. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's like if I connected to AOL or NetZero and then get a turbo boost, it might equate that. I mean, it's that bad. It's just so bad, their internet service. And that's just part one. And we have internet here too. It's in Santa Monica, the internet quality is a little bit better with Time Warner. But then get this. They hike the rates an obscene amount after you go through their contract. You have your contract and it looks reasonable. $50 a month. Okay, fine. Not bad. Oh, okay, 20 megabits per second a month of bandwidth. Not bad. And then I found out this month that they raised the rate $13. I mean, how do you raise the rate $13? I mean, I thought like 5, 6, $7, $13. I'm like, is this Earth? Again, $13 price hike after a 12-month contract. I mean, that much of a hike really doesn't speak well to what their actual commitments are. I mean, they're just what are they trying to do? Like get a month or two out of it to see if they can get away with it? Well, they did. But is that what they're trying to do? Like try to get an extra like $15 out of their customers every month? It's outrageous. I gotta go over there and call them and get some other deal just to get a reasonable rate. It wouldn't be so bad if you just offered a consistent rate all the time. And that's one thing about Verizon DSL, which wasn't spectacular, but they were consistent. This connection was consistent, except for that period in February 2011 that was just terrible. But it was barely on. But other than that, they were consistent. The speed is consistent, and the prices are usually pretty consistent. It doesn't jump up $13 in a month coming off a contract or what. It's just ridiculous. So I have not been treated to the pleasure of Time Warner Cable TV, other than when I go to my parents' house once in a while. But people who do have to put up with it every day, I feel for you. Because that box set that they use is so bad, it's so awful, it's so ridiculous, it's so incompetent that I don't know how anybody watches TV on that thing. You turn it on, you try to change the channel. Like, you get a remote, much like the one I'm showing you in the picture if you're watching on TV. This is a DirecTV remote. This thing works. Like, you push the button and it changes the channel. On a DirecTV, on a Time Warner Cable remote, when you try to push a button to change the channel, this button right here, this one right here, change the channel. When you push that button, it doesn't change the channel. It just kind of sits there. And then you're like, what happened? I pushed the button, you aim at it, and you push it like a little harder, and you think it's going to change the channel. And then it doesn't. And you push like you push the numbers on there, and you're like pushing like 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And you push it again, and you push it again, and you're like, it just sits there on the same channel. And then you're like, and then you throw your hands up, you're like, oh, that's it. What's going on here? And then, like, all at once, it's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's like, it does all the commands at the same time. It's like, this box is abysmal. It's so bad. You go to the guide, and you can only display like 2, 3 channels at a time, on the program screen. You have to push like the page down button to get to the next screen, and you gotta go through like 12 of them, like trying to get to the channel you're looking for. You sometimes you just punch it in, it's fine. And then you gotta push you have to push like 8 things just to get it to record. DirecTV, even that lame-o Cox box I had, for Cox Communications in Santa Barbara, I would go to the channel, the thing I wanted to record, push record, and it would record. I think what happens with Time Warner Cable, but don't quote me on this, is you push to record, and then it asks you like all this stuff. It's like, do you want to record for over 2 hours? Do you want to record for this? Do you want to record on time? No, I want to record like 5 minutes late. Of course I want to record on time. What kind of a question is that? So, all these things, and you can adjust these things on the other services after the fact. But here, it makes you go through all this stuff before you even record. I mean, that's just outrageous. And the on-demand, you push the on-demand button, and then it's just so slow, and you're just pushing a button, and then you're waiting. It's like PlayStation. You're kind of waiting for your screen. And then you pick another selection, you're waiting. It's like another, wait, please wait, loading. And you push it here. And then what's more is that you get what you want, and you make a mistake, and you go you pick the wrong movie. You can't just go back. You either have to watch the thing you picked, or you have to exit, and you have to go through 5 different menus to go back to this place where you just were. You can't just go back a page. I mean, that's just terrible, terrible software management. Unbelievable. So, I know that everybody is watching Sharknado tonight. I know nobody's watching the show, but if you eventually get to this program, please Believe me when I tell you, this thing, Time Warner Cable doesn't do anything right. Their customer service got a little better, but it's still extremely lame. And don't even try the chat feature. I tried the chat feature because I thought I could probably get some work done and then chat at the same time, so I won't have to take a phone call, wait, add time in the queue, waiting around. Because somebody's like, oh, somebody's here to chat with you right now. Would you like to chat? I said, all right, I'll give it a chat. Because obviously it was a pretty simple thing. I'm like, okay, my bill went up nearly, let me think, 55, 2468, went to 15. Yeah, my bill went up like 11% in like a month. It's like, that seems a little outrageous. So I went over that. And, the representative came up and it said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, sure you are. And then I went and I went through the whole thing. I'm like, all right, well, my bill is $67. It used to be $55. What can you do about it? And there's like, well, here's this link. Can you log in? I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, or can you do something or not? You're sending me a link. You're making me do it? I mean, what the hell is this? You're making me do something that you're supposed to help me with. But so I tried it, and I went into it, and I'm like, I can't do it anyway because it says you are already upgraded to such and such, and it doesn't give me the option to change anything. So I was like, yeah, here's a link. They asked me to paste the link back to them, like whatever that means. So like I pasted the link back to them, and I'm like, yeah, here it is. You see it, I can't do anything with it. And it's like, oh, okay. And they asked me to wait. So I waited for like 5 minutes, and I'm doing other stuff, we're checking emails. They come back to me and said, yeah, you're going to have to call customer service to fix that. It's like, are you serious? You had me work with this chat thing for like 15 minutes, and you're telling me you got to call the number anyway. I mean, what a waste of time that was. So they don't have their eggs in the basket, this Time Warner Cable. It is just nuts. It's so frustrating. So I'm going to call them, and I'll be on hold for like 45 minutes again. Nuts. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. Now, at some point, I probably will call them because I don't want to pay $68 again for internet. That's not even blazing fast. I mean, it is pretty good, but I mean, it's not super duper. It's little things like that have added up to one really, really miserable company. Nobody that I know that uses Time Warner Cable has full satisfaction from it. Either they're tolerating it or they're just completely fed up with it. But nobody says, oh, I like Time Warner Cable. I think they do a lot of things well. Because they don't. They don't do anything well. Their HD was like pulling teeth. For a while, they had like 5 channels, and like 4 of the 5 channels were the local stations. I mean, come on. I mean, okay, they had a couple of channels, but, it's just nuts, man. Time Warner Cable stinks. And now they're running like 2 channels of really high-profile sports teams. The Lakers channel, which took a 2-month process just to get that on. But the Lakers are so big, there was no way they were getting away with that for long. So that just shows you how much more important the Lakers are in this town than the Dodgers. But they did take care of that. And then, the channel, once you get it on, I mean, it's terrific. I mean, it's great programming. The Lakers, you can't really get much more than that for a Laker channel. Pretty good. Some classic features. It's a good setup. It's a good channel. I mean, the producers there are great. They do a good job running that station. This is not about the people who run the 2 channels in question. Time Warner Cable Sportsnet is done brilliantly. Like, once you actually can watch it. Same for Sportsnet LA. And I haven't even seen that much of it because, again, I can't watch it. But what little I have seen looks pretty good. Sportsnet LA, yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's pretty well situated, and the studio crew looks good. I mean, I like Nomar and the guys that they use for the rest of the channel, Alana Rizzo, Oral Hirsch. I can't complain about any of those guys. Those guys are pretty good. So I mean, when I can actually see the thing, it'll be great. But the higher ups, the actual cable company that operates the channel, that owns the channel, so to speak, is just keeping themselves, I don't know what they're doing. The actual entity that runs Time Warner Cable Sportsnet LA is just like putting themselves in a corner and basically drawing a line in the sand. And that's not how you do this thing. It's just a disgrace. Dodger fans, I know they're not the Laker fans, where they are the talk and the topic of the town, but it's still a huge deal. It's still one of the biggest franchises in baseball. Look at the revenue they generate each year. Everybody knows what Dodgers is. Like you say, Dodgers. You go around town, you go anywhere, any part of town, you go to the alleys and yell Dodgers. They know what you're talking about. You can go to the billiards hall, you can go to parties, you can go to your rec facility and just say Dodgers. People know what it is. Oh yeah. LA's baseball team, a tradition of excellence, a long-running pastime. Vince Scully, Steve Garvey, Ron Say, Sandy Koufax. You say Dodgers, and this is an entire world of baseball, history, lore, future, and present, all rolled into one. You say Dodgers. You think Dodger dogs. You think Dodger Stadium. You think Dodger bobbleheads. What the hell? Dodger bobbleheads too. You think palm trees and mountains and first pitch. You think of the top deck, the loge level, and the field boxes. I mean, Dodgers encompasses so much. It's a way of life. And you're cutting it off from people. What kind of if it was 1978 and people couldn't watch the game most of the year, well, that was par for the course. I mean, the technology wasn't there to do that. Nobody else was either. But now you can, and you're refusing it to people. I mean, come on. I know you don't want to lose money, but God, jeez. I mean, is it that hard to work on a carriage agreement? You don't see this with Sportsnet New York. You don't see this with any of the. You do see it with some of the Comcast channels. To be fair, Houston's getting no coverage with their Houston Astros game. That's crazy. I didn't realize about that until recently. But you don't see it with the. We don't see it with the Giants. You don't see it with the Angels. You don't see it with the Cubs. Most of these other teams are not going into this kind of a legal brouhaha. And to do with the Dodgers, just so dumb. I mean, you're losing potential audience. This is a great team this year. Dodgers really are on their way to having one of the best records in baseball. And you're denying fans a chance to build from that momentum and extend into a great season because you want a couple extra pennies and you want more people to switch to your lame-o cable system. Well, I think what you're losing here, Time Warner Cable, is far exceeding what you could possibly win. So the whole thing is just a mess. I mean, seriously, it is just such a complete and utter fail. Oh my gosh, we have a caller on the line. I am so sorry. I had this guy on for like 20 minutes. So anyway, we'll continue with this topic in a little bit. But first, let's get our first caller on the air. 973 area code. Welcome to the program tonight. Who am I speaking to here in the city? Hello? Hello? You there, sir? Okay. That was kind of weird. I don't know who that was. Maybe he's maybe the person's just on hold. I'll look that up. I forgot to actually monitor the thing. This has been a comedy of errors tonight, honestly. I am so sorry. If you want to call in 424-258-9251, it's so crazy. Did somebody call in? So crazy. Oh my goodness. I think we're gonna take a break here on the program. With all due apologies to Joe Jackson and his band, we certainly will step out for just a moment. We'll be back. This is Dave in the city. Again, it's 7:46, and I am so sorry for leaving this guy on the line for so long. Let's bring him on the air again. 973 area code. Welcome to the program. Who am I talking to tonight?
The Marquis.
Hey, welcome back, fresh from the farm.
It sounds like we both had rough days.
I read your post.
I saw we finally got home. We were watching the 6:30 news with Diane Sawyer, and I'm like, that's UCLA. I know someone there. I was like, oh my God! Thank God you were on the second floor. I was like, oh
yeah, oh yeah.
So anyway, how is? I loved your rant about Time Warner, and of course, you know, there's the whole Time Warner Comcast thing going on.
Yep.
Is it like here where, based on where you live, you can only get one carrier?
Yeah, that is well. In many cases, that's the case. But what's interesting is that around the rest of LA, those channels, those other areas don't get like some of the areas don't get Time Warner. You can't choose it even if you wanted to. So like Pasadena,
you get what they tell you to.
Basically. So
at least here, I mean, we at least get the choice of Comcast or Verizon Fios, and I know people on the Verizon Fios project that say don't do it.
Oh man.
So it's like, well, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? I thought Fios was pretty good though, but you know, if they're at Verizon, they say that maybe you got to take their advice. Yeah, what do you do? No, you're right. Where you live, you only get one cable provider choice. You don't get a second one. It's crazy.
We get one cable, but I go a couple doors down to a good friend of mine, and I ask her, what do you have? She goes, I have Verizon Fios. I'm like, what do you think about it? She goes, it sucks. I'm like, well, mine sucks too. I'm not joking.
Oh man, that's bad. I thought it would have been at least fast on the internet. No, not so good.
What's that?
The internet's
the internet is pretty damn fast.
Oh, the internet's fast. Okay, but the TV's not.
The internet is very fast.
Oh, okay, cool. So the internet's okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough light. It's a tough scene, man. I mean, it's just monopolies can be rough. I tell you, it's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, we broke up the Baby Bells or the Big Bells into the Baby Bells. Yeah. I mean, I would hope we can do it again, but good luck with that.
Yeah, very tough. And it is, you know, I mean, our friend Parcells Falling Out was talking to me yesterday on Twitter, and he brought up how it really cable companies owning TV channels can create a slippery slope. It sort of is a tough spot.
Oh, big time.
Right? I mean, and this is a problem that many cities have with their sports teams because their sports teams now go to these channels that are owned by a cable company.
Well, you've got it the worst. You really have it the worst.
This is bad. I've never seen anything like this.
Any provider here, you can get Yes Network, you can get SNY.
Yeah.
Good luck me getting KCNY, KCSY, or whatever the hell it is.
Right. But yeah,
I have to buy the package, and I just have chosen not to do it. So I get MLBN, and I just get a game a night, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, they do a pretty good job. Like even with like cut-ins and highlights. I mean, it's pretty good. I've noticed that I've managed a little bit just going to MLB Network and getting live look-ins on the Dodger game once in a while. But it is not consistent. But I do get it sometimes, and it's like okay, so I get some of it, but it's still not like watching the whole game. I mean, I'd rather. I mean, you know, especially in this case with Ben Scully.
It moves around too much.
Oh man, it's killing me. Ben Scully gets an extension for another year.
The funny thing is, I was at a bar one night over across from MetLife Stadium. I keep calling it Giant Stadium. And I met, who was that 6'6" pitcher for the Cardinals who's on MLB Network?
Ooh.
Oh, McGrain, Joe McGrain.
Okay.
And I said, can I get my alumni to tour the MLBN studios? And he's like, oh yeah, just show up at the front desk. Everything will be fine.
Okay.
And I walk up there and they're like, no.
Oh man.
That place is locked down like a fort.
Wow. That's really something. I didn't.
Whereas I went to MetLife Stadium, I got 3 tours of that place as they were building it. And that was really interesting.
Oh really? What'd you find?
Eli Manning's hot tub is about 15 by 15.
Get out! You can fit like 5 people in there. 15 by 15?
Yeah.
Wow.
There are 4 separate locker rooms.
Dang.
Jets home, Jets visitor.
Right.
Giants home, Giants visitor.
So the visitors have different locker rooms depending on which team they play. That's funny. I wonder.
Correct.
Seems like quite an excess.
That
but,
place is enormous.
wow.
And it has no personality.
That's what I've heard. Everybody doesn't like it because it's like it's got no cachet. There's nothing to it. It's very bland.
No personality whatsoever.
Yeah. I hear you.
But the turf is really nice.
Yeah. I mean,
no, the turf is really nice. I took 3 5-step drops on that turf, and man, it feels better than grass.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it must be really soft in the feet. I've done some field turf. I walked on field turf once. Yeah, it's beautiful. So that's nice. I mean, they got the field turf, so I guess that's one thing they got going for them. But yeah, a lot of complaints. People don't like it, and the PSL prices and all that. I mean, it's just a mess.
Well, that's a whole different deal.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And then the parking passes and
Ugh.
So
Unreal.
I'm sorry I went off script with you, but a few little vignettes for you.
No, I like it. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any RPI stories to share with us tonight on the air?
What's that?
An RPI story, from your college,
Yep. What about it?
No, do you like? Is there any you would like to share with our on-air podcast audience? Like
I don't have one right now.
Oh, okay. That's
I have one that's really lewd, and I'm not going to do it.
I mean, we're uncensored. We could do it.
Oh God.
If you don't want to, you don't have to.
I already told this once tonight.
Okay. I'm all ears. If you want to.
I told you about the family war that's going on today.
Oh, yeah. So this is about your uncle's...
And a member of the other family,
yeah.
He went to the Merchant Marine Academy. He's exactly 1 year older than me.
Okay.
So he will turn 41 the day I turn 40 in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, we don't have frat parties at the Merchant Marine. Wow. He said, can I come up and you take me to the best frat party you can find? I said, sure. So I took him up there, and I end up on a couch, and a 16-year-old girl puts her hand down my pants.
Whoa!
I warned you.
Whoa! Well, that's really.
This is against the law.
Oh,
here.
Yes.
And not only was she 16, she was the daughter of a professor.
Oh boy, this is.
I was like, wait a second.
Ooh.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this. I said, Ian, stay here. I know you don't know the territory. Just stay in the house. I got to walk this girl home because she's a mess.
Oh, no question. I mean, to go through all that.
So I did the right thing. And I came back to the house, and he wasn't drunk. I was doing pretty good. And we drove out to the Denny's out on Wolf Road in Albany at 4 a.m, had a big breakfast, and he drove back to the Merchant Marine on Long Island, got there around 8.
Oh, really?
I couldn't believe it. This girl was just, and a Brit, so she had that British accent going on. I was like, oh, God.
You did the right thing.
I can't make it up.
No, you can't. You really can't.
I'm sounding like Cap here.
Yeah, that seems like a lot like a Cap story, but seriously, you were played that thing pretty smart. Like, you don't want to get in trouble in that spot.
I mean, I was feeling pretty good, but I'm like, this girl's out of her mind.
Oh my gosh, seriously.
And if she were of age, maybe things would be different. Probably not, but.
Well, I mean,
I'd probably take it up later if she was of age, but.
Yeah.
And then she showed up at my band rehearsal the next week.
Really?
And we said nothing. It's like she knew what she did, and I knew what happened, and hey. Yeah. I just ran rehearsal as normal.
I dig.
So.
Oh man. Yeah. It's best to leave that.
That's one of the better RPI stories.
Yeah.
Of which I have many, but.
Um,
That fills you into the 11 o'clock hour, or in your case, the 8 o'clock hour. But
yep, it's a good bridge. So yeah, let's
if
talk
you want to
about
call it that.
yeah. Now your farm, I am told it is enormous. Like there is a huge amount of land
It's
involved.
about 47 acres.
Whoa, that is.
And I had to mow the grass down there today. It was about 4 or 5 acres. The rest of
Wow.
it's all feed corn. It's all horse corn.
Dang, that's impressive. That's
So
impressive.
we hire it out to another guy, and he plants it.
Interesting. But are you? I mean, you must be so much pride that goes into a big farm like that. I mean, do you feel really accomplished having a nice, it's a pretty nice piece of land. I mean, that's
not
pretty
really.
Good. Oh no,
not really.
Not really. Oh,
No.
is it
Well,
more?
when you see it,
Uh-huh.
instead of if you see it, when you see it. Well, I had a bad experience there today, among many. I was testing out the audio equipment for Fatsesser Palooza, or whatever you want to call it. And I forgot one key cable.
Ooh.
So I couldn't do anything.
Ooh. Don't you hate when that happens? Like you
I was pissed.
Oh, that is the worst.
I'm going to be down there next week.
Okay, cool. So Tankapalooza.
It's usually Wednesdays, so
I like this.
I know what I screwed up.
Well, at least you're on it, though.
I mean, I only have at least a year to plan, so.
Yeah. I dig. So, quickly, just out of curiosity, when do you want to do the Tankapalooza? Like, what date do you have planned for
I
that?
don't know. I'm up for a suggestion.
Okay.
The only thing is I have to rent porta potties and some other stuff because the house is inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get the audio stuff together and I'll figure out the food and stuff. But
okay.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we can make it an open discussion.
Okay. If you want to,
I don't know what's best. I mean, Memorial Day, everybody's got plans,
right.
So we don't want to do it there.
Right. I mean, we could do it this month. I mean, maybe next year, but we could do it we could do it maybe July 2015. And that gives everybody time to mark it on their calendars and arrange travel plans. And I think it's a good month.
Well, no, I want to put it in the calendar such that someone like yourself can come out.
Okay.
I mean, the farm is no prize. It's very rural, but
okay. Lots of room to party though.
It's ripe for a party though.
Yeah. That's really generous of you to offer this idea. I think it's a really fun idea. I'm really rooting for this to happen, and with that much space, with that much room, I mean, I think the possibilities, quite honestly, are endless.
Well,
so it's exciting.
Again, the lawn space is only about 4 acres, but
yeah,
only 4 acres. I mean, God.
It's
but there's only one way in and one way out, so
yeah. For sure.
Unless I can somehow engineer a road, there's on the north side there's the Raceway Park access road.
Mm-hmm.
If I can somehow engineer a road that cuts on in, again, I got a lot to think about, but I thought it was a cool idea.
No, this really has some legs. I'm excited about this prospect of it happening, and I'm rooting for you to really work out the logistics. Yeah. I think it's very, very attainable, though. Honestly, this looks like something that this seems very realistic. I really think that this is I can see it. Like it's sort of I'm just getting in my head like this. Well, this has potential.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying it has potential, yeah.
I mean, the other thing I'm going to have to do, and maybe next week or the week after, is I'm going to have to take some pictures just so you guys can kind of see the space.
Right.
Because it's not very fancy. It's very rural, but, especially if we do it July, something like that.
Right.
The cornfields will be up, so nobody will see you, and you can just be jackasses.
I love it. But that's what it's all about, man. We're Mongos being Mongos. I mean, isn't that what it's all about?
That would be great.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I can't wait, buddy. Well, look, I really want to thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate
Yep.
it.
You're up against the 11 o'clock hour.
We
So.
are, but we certainly want you to come back. Let me know anytime you feel like. Just let me know, and we can chat. And I gotta take you up on the Skype chat too sometime. Just we'll keep in touch.
Oh, no biggie. Thanks, man.
You got it, bud. All right.
See ya.
See ya, bud. That's Marquis on
Bye.
the program as a true original, I must say. Great to have him on the program. And now let's bring it to America's favorite moment in sports talk podcasting.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions. Let's start in the city with Kevin on the Cape.
And that's right. Kevin on the Cape is just about to join us tonight on Random Questions. And here he is now. Kevin, welcome back to the program. How's it going? Well, welcome back to the program. How's it going tonight?
How is Dave and Living Color doing?
Pretty good. And Living Color, indeed. I mean, it's first of all, we were late to the start.
Stopped on the streets now? Getting stopped on the streets. Chicks are crazy out there.
Well, it's becoming a big sensation. I mean, people are seeing the face, and now they have matched the face to the name. It's a pretty big deal.
Yes.
So
I'm working on a fundraiser, and this is probably the right place to announce it. I'm working on a fundraiser drive to get your picture on the side of an LA bus.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's easy to do. You can totally get
face on the bus. Like, yeah, the Dave face from the EMF.com message board face on the bus.
That's a pretty cool idea, bud. It is. Just to inform the rest of our audience tonight, and it's not a huge audience, unfortunately. The reason it's not huge, Kevin, is because I would estimate about maybe, how many people do we have in America? Like 300 million? I would say about 299 million of the 300 million are watching Sharknado 2. I don't know I don't get it, but I'd have to check it out. I mean, it's probably one of those deals where it's like, it's so bad it's good. But this Sharknado 2, you'll see what I'm talking about tomorrow when you get on the internet, but it's just taken over. Like, every tweet's about Sharknado.
I don't read the internet, Dave.
Well, you're spared. This is just a train wreck. So I'm hoping that the rest of the audience can catch up with us tomorrow. In the meanwhile, I'm really happy to hear from you, Kev. I'm glad everything's going.
The only one, by the way, the 1% is Peter Gammons hanging outside Jon Lester's apartment right now.
He's gone. He's not making a start on Friday. Jon Lester, I think he's going somewhere. Where do you think he goes?
No, tonight was his scheduled start. He got scratched tonight.
Yeah, he got scratched. Oh, yeah, it is tonight. Yeah, that's right. It was tonight. Because it was tonight, and I was looking forward to it, too. I was like, oh, yeah, he's starting in a couple of days. Like, this is 2 days ago. Like, I got to check this out, see what we were looking at potentially as a trade prospect. And then he didn't pitch. And that just makes it pretty obvious that he's going somewhere. And I think wherever he goes, a lot of people have said, or not a lot of people, it was Ari in Philadelphia who said that he would be like a one-year rental. So in other words, he's at the end of his contract, and they'd have to negotiate a new one at the end of the season.
This is the prime example of a 2-month rental. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a very risky proposition if you're going to deal any significant prospects in this deal. If you're dealing old players, then that's one thing. But if you're dealing like guys from the farm, that's risky. Because like you said, it's 2 months. Probably that's what it's going to be. It's like 2 months of service. So what teams would make sense which teams it would make sense to get a guy like Jon Lester at this point in time? I don't know if so much.
Right, you have to have a serious, legitimate thought that you are going to win it all. You can't just say, we're coming close. Maybe we'll get it next year because he's not going to be there next year. So that's part of the Red Sox problem is there's only probably 5 or 6 teams that they can play with.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the off season, if they did it last year in the off season, they'd have had 15 teams.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, they really are only like, and so I'm thinking, which teams would be in the running for this? I don't think the A's have anything to do with it because they've already made the trade for Kevin or Jeff Samardzija, who I think is just as good a pitcher as Jon Lester, honestly, and with much more upside. He was the best pitcher on the Cubs. He got traded over to Oakland. That was a slam dunk for me. Now they gave up a lot of big prospects from their farm to get him, but it's a guy that they can keep around for years. I think that was a slam dunk. So they're not getting Jon
Plus
Lester.
they got the other guy.
They got some. They did get some. You're right. They did.
They got the other guy. They got the other guy because everyone. I was listening to the radio on my ride home today. People were saying, "Oh, the Red Sox want what similar to what the Cubs got for Samardzija." And I'm going, "Well, the A's got another guy.
Yeah, they got
two pitchers in that.
They did get another guy. So it wasn't just Samardzija.
If we've taught anything to anyone in the last 3 years, it's you can't sleep on the other guy. The other guy is the other guy.
That's the other guy. And who's that guy? That other guy? Yeah, that guy.
The other guy.
I love it. So yeah, I think there's going to be you're going to really see a lot of pieces being moved in a situation like that. I thought that the Dodgers may have been in line to get him. And at least in their case, they would be in position to retain him after the season because they apparently have so much money that they can just run after and go get him. And so that's where I think they have an advantage. But the problem for me is, like, who are they going to give up? And I'm really afraid that the guy they give up is Kemp, and I don't want to see that. Now, that's just a personal thing. I think it actually makes a lot of sense to give up Matt Kemp because hasn't really been that healthy lately, kind of down in the dumps. He could use a change of scenery, and it might work well for him. But personally, I followed him his whole career. I would really hate to see him leave the Dodgers because he really loves that team, and I just think this is going to suck if he leaves. But on an empirical level, it's a good idea. So that's probably what I'm thinking. Like, they'll probably get Kemp and some other younger parts to go out to Oakland in exchange for, to Boston in exchange for Lester. It's kind of like it's great on paper. It's snappy, it looks great.
It's funny you say that because when you listen to the shows out here and they bring that up, everyone's like, "No, Matt Kemp is terrible. We don't want him."
Well, that's the thing. I mean, no, he's not playing good baseball. He's been better like this week, but yeah, no, his stats are awful. He's been hurt, and you're right. I mean, it's kind of a. If it was just like Matt Kemp for Lester straight up, that's not an even trade. I think Lester's the better property between the two. I mean, there's no question about it. But it would probably be like Kemp then something else in going over for Lester in that spot. So it's just a difficult situation for me. I'm just such a big Matt Kemp fan. It's making me really biased evaluating this particular trade. I don't even know if this is what's going to happen. Like, if you had a gun to your head, and I know that's very politically incorrect, but if gun to your head, is LA the destination for Jon Lester?
No.
No. Okay. See, I feel the same way. I feel like, number one, the Dodgers don't need another ace. They have like 3. They don't need another one. I just think. I mean, they certainly is cool if they're in the running. It definitely gets everybody on edge, which is great. I mean, you want to be a bit of an intimidator if you're a big franchise. I think they're doing it fine in that department. But actually doing the trade, I'm not sure. I mean, it'd be cool if he was on the team, but at what price? That's always a question. So then where do you think he goes? What other team would be eligible? Lately, today, I was reading some rumors and rumblings about him going to the Orioles, which would be really surprising from the standpoint that it's in division. Usually they don't do trades in division, but the Orioles do need a pitcher, and he would be a great fit on the O's. And the Red Sox certainly could get some good guys going back their way. But the thing about it being in division is that a good idea? I don't necessarily think so, but it could still work out.
The only reason I think it's an exception in this case is because the Red Sox are adamant, and I'm sure pretty much the common thought is that he's not going to re-sign with him anyway. So it's just 2 months. You play him once or twice. He might pitch against you once. Get over it. It's not like you're trading him. For all they know that he could sign with the Yankees long term next year. But I think for this year, I don't think it's a big deal to trade him in the division.
Interesting. But it's kind of a short-term thought process, though, because it's not. I mean, the guy could conceivably be back the next year. Not likely, though. We mentioned the thing about the 2-month rental. But this year, certainly, I think that all applies. I think it's really smart. Some other guys on the table, Cole Hamels, who the Phillies, again, just always a step behind with these transactions. They should trade somebody. They should have traded Lee last year. They should trade Cole Hamels this time around. This is a good time to do it. They're not good, and Hamels is pitching pretty well, especially on the stat line. He's got like under 3 ERA, 2.5. Guy's pitching pretty well, at least from what I see. I haven't actually. I'm going by the stats to be fair, but it looks like he's having a good season. So this is a good time to let him go. So the Dodgers may have been in on that. That may actually be an even worse idea than going after Lester, because Hamels is 30, which means that he could regress. He could get worse. But I do think that Hamels does need to go somewhere. From your perspective, what would be a sensible trade for the Phillies with Cole Hamels?
The sensible idea is for the Red Sox to trade Lester and Lackey for a bunch of prospects and then trade for Hamels.
So Lackey.
The Red Sox are in some strange mode now where they're only going to pay 3 or 4 years. They'll pay you as much money as you want, but they're not going to pay you 6, 7 years. Basically, Cole Hamels with Jon Lester with a 3-year contract left.
Yeah. And he's owed a lot of money. It is crazy, like nearly 100 million left in this contract.
It's 96 if you count the buyout, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like $24 million a year.
Mm-hmm. $24 million a year for Cole Hamels. Even if he pitches well, that's just an enormous amount of money for one guy. And I think we've seen that the best rotations in baseball tend to work with guys that they start with, meaning guys who come up from the farm and are developed, rather than guys that they pay for in a free agency. You're better off trying that than trying the guys in free agency, because by the time a guy hits free agency, they're basically 30 to 33. So the best years could even have been behind him at that point. And you're paying for that? It's a little risky. Hello?
Very risky, very risky.
Oh, very risky. No question. So, and then when I was saying to my roommate before I went on air tonight, I thought to myself, the best trade of the best trade of the year, the best midseason trade may have happened actually before the All-Star break. Do you remember the Jeff Samardzija trade? I think we mentioned this already, actually. The Jeff Samardzija trade, I think, may have been the best trade. It works great for both teams. The A's are in a great position to do something serious this year. They needed like an ace-quality starter. Samardzija, the best quality starter that the Cubs have. But in exchange, the Cubs are getting some pretty legit A-level prospects. When I say A, I mean like super the top-of-the-line level prospects. And these guys could end up being a huge table setters for the Cubs in the future. So much so that people have predicted that the Cubs are going to be a legit World Series contender in like 2 years. Now, that sounds like a lot to say, but it does seem to me that they're on the path to being a very good team very soon. So your thoughts about the Samardzija trade, and does that seem to stand out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Oakland's going for it this year. That was the perfect situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's at least on paper, it looks like a trade that both sides win. It really does, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Huh. How about it? I feel just I'm very excited about this talk, I must say. And I'll tell you, whatever the people were doing watching Sharknado 2, they are missing out tonight here. I'm hopefully, I mean, I'm not going to catch up on that movie, but if you did watch the movie, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And maybe tell me a little bit. I'd be happy to hear about it if you have the time to talk to me about what the Sharknado 2 thing is. Feel free.
So this is a television show, or this is a movie, or a reality show? What are we missing?
No, it's a TV movie. It's a TV movie. And I don't know what a Sharknado is. It's just like a tornado with a shark in it. That, I know, it just sounds so stupid. No, I agree. What? I don't get it either. I don't get it.
A tornado with a shark in it?
Yeah. It's, it is, I think...
How is that even possible?
It is, well, it's not possible. I mean, it is a blatant, deliberate attempt to make the worst movie ever conceived. And let's give it to them, Sci-Fi Network. They did it. Worst movie ever. And they had a first one. There was a first one that came out like a year ago or 2 years ago. This is a sequel, Junkman. This isn't even the first of its kind. What does that tell you about America?
So the sharks are in the tornado and they're alive? And they eat people?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like the tornado destroys the buildings, and the sharks eat the people.
But they're not in the water, so they're just like flopping around.
Again, this is not a movie that depends on physics or the natural laws of reality. It's just stupid for stupid's sake. I'm just... I
don't even understand how that's even who even. There must have been some guys on some serious drugs who thought of this one.
And you would be correct. You would be correct, Junkman. Honestly. Oh man. Yeah.
So, like, do the sharks have legs? Like they run around like Kansas, eating people?
No, they're not on legs. The tornado carries them. They're in a tornado, and it rolls.
Does the tornado take the people into the water so they get eaten?
I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. Correct me if I'm wrong, but tornadoes happen for the most part in the Midwest where there's not an ocean.
Right. That's exactly right. And so this further compounds the boundaries of reality, because this movie took place in New York. It's like, what? Maybe it's a shark that goes around and around and around in circles so much that it looks like a tornado. Like, it's not actually a tornado, it's a shark that suspends reality and somehow can breathe in the air, and it goes around in circles so it creates like a cyclone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you told me it was a shark hurricane or a shark tsunami, that would make more sense, because that's a water-based event.
Right, I'm with you, but the problem there,
like air
it doesn't. No, I agree with you. I agree with all of this. All this makes sense to me. The problem is it doesn't make a good movie title. Like Shark Hurricane or Sharkane is hard to really make promos for, but Sharknado sounds really super, you know. So you know what? I think our friend John and George is probably in the chat. I haven't even looked at the chat. He probably just explained the whole thing in like 3 paragraphs. Let me take a look. No, he hasn't. Okay, but maybe we'll figure that one out. Let me look. See if we have any. Yeah, I don't know. So at any rate, I guess at some point out. But you know what? This is where the internet becomes our handy. It's just so bad. This movie is like intentionally bad at this point, and it's still getting ratings. Like, it's just the worst piece of cinema possibly ever. So let me look it up. What is a Sharknado? We are going to look it up on Wikipedia for those of you tuning in late tonight. This is Kevin on the Cape. With me tonight, I am Dave Medina, and the voice with high timbre. Let's see what it is. Okay. So, first of all, Sharknado, the original, was a made-for-television disaster B movie. Yeah, B. B? That thing's like F. Jeez. Oh, okay. But uh, a freak hurricane. See again, a hurricane in Los Angeles, but whatever. Freak hurricane hits Los Angeles, causing man-eating sharks to be scooped up in water spouts and flooding the city with shark-infested seawater. So does that sort of fill in the gaps?
Right, so it's not a tornado. So
Right.
the title is just completely false.
No, it's bullshit. I mean, the whole
shark
thing.
hurricane.
It's exactly right. I mean, that's exactly right. It's actually a hurricane that scoops up sharks in water. So, like you said, they need water. So they're in water, and then
This makes more sense now.
yeah, it's actually this is actually kind of making sense. So let's follow up with that. Let's see what let's get the Sharknado 2 synopsis and figure out what that's all about. So the second, yeah. And like I said, this is definitely a deliberately bad movie. I don't really see what else this could be. Okay, so okay. So here's how the second one goes. This one it's the same idea, but this time instead of LA, it's in New York. And this guy sees sharks outside the plane. One lands on the plane wing and begins to call out that something is on the wing. Although when people look, they see nothing and quickly dismiss it. But then the sharks attack. This is according to Wikipedia. The shark crashes onto an engine on the left wing and blows it up. As the plane flies through the storm, a shark flies in the passenger area and decapitates a steward. Which is, I think it's a flight that's called flight attendant now. But anyway, another breaks through one of the windows of the cockpit and eats the co-pilot's top half. Wow. The pilot tries to pull her back, but they are both dragged out. This leaves the plane without a pilot. Okay, blah, 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 blah. The shark just goes on, and the sharks apparently are all over the place.
The air to eat the plane.
I don't know. Maybe the plane was flooded at this point. I can't really say. Whew. Whew, man. That's nuts, isn't it? But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So that's the talk of everything right now. Sharknado 2, the other one, the second one, intentionally bad movie, and it is going to score big on Sci-Fi. It's kind of weird because, I mean, the whole thing's weird. I guess we'll just leave it at that. Okay, so Kevin, if I may interject, I had a random question for you tonight, which I sent to you in text earlier today, and it was about music, and I said, if you could pick a year of music that you want to listen to, like all in a row, like let's say I want to listen to all the albums from this year or all the best albums from this year, what year would you pick? Like, what is your favorite year in music, basically? So there's been some time. I cited some examples. What comes to mind when you think of music that you'd find as the best, as a great year? I'm sorry. What year strikes you as your favorite for music? Like, what was the best year of music to you?
Well, see, I kind of thought a little differently about what was the greatest to listen to. I just sort of took from the question what was the greatest year for music.
Yeah, okay, that's a good interpretation anyway. I mean, that's a good question, right? I mean, which year would you pick?
I thought a little bit about it, and then went in a little different direction, and I'm going to pick 1941, Dave.
1941? Wow,
1941.
That's a unusual response. What do you like about 1941?
All right, you ready?
Yes. Oh, I think I know what
In
this.
1941, here you go.
Okay.
Most of this is off my memory, but I had to look up a couple things. Joan Baez, Richie Havens, Tom Rush, Gene Pitney, Placido Domingo, Otis Redding. Then you have some brothers, Ronald Isley and Aaron Neville, different bands. Wilson Pickett, Eric Burden, Neil Diamond. Then you've got your California people: Paul Cantor, Mike Love, David Crosby, Mamas and the Papas, Cass Elliot, and Denny Darty. David Ruffin and Otis Williams from the Temptations, Chubby Checker for that matter, Clarence Clemens, Harry Nilsson, Spencer Davis, George Clinton, Paul Anka, Kenny Rogers, Donald Duck Dunn, Pete Best, even Art Garfunkel, and Mr. Bob Dylan were all born in 1941.
Wow, wow. And I figured this was going to lead to Bob Dylan's birth date somehow, because I was thinking that's about the age he is. Yes, that's awesome. That's a lot of famous names in music. Pretty good.
Not bad, and quite the variety.
Yes, very good point. Placido Domingo, one of the three tenors. Yeah.
And I forgot the Hot Girls. The Shirelles, which is basically like the first awesome female vocal band.
That's a good
All those
group.
girls were born, or I think half of the group was born in 41.
Mm-hmm.
That was, the group that, I think it's Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow was their song, but that was the group that was before the Ronettes, before the Supremes, the first all-girl group that, made the charts and that kind of stuff.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's a pretty. I love that you can create such wonderful creative responses to that. Really good. So, to the rest of you tonight, if you have a question for us, you can tweet at DipCow with your question, random questions for the remainder of this second hour. If you want to do it the traditional way, you can go to blogtalkradio.com/DaveInTheCity, write the word question followed by the question itself, and we will take those in order as well throughout the course of this hour. So at DipCow, if you want to write a random question for us, and we will answer them in these next 33 minutes. Next question. Oh, yeah. I think this is from a couple cookies, but I'm not sure. Would you date a girl with 4 tits?
Well, then, only if they were twins.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting answer. Yeah, probably not. I'm just gonna say. Okay, next question.
That's like alien. That's alien level. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they mean 4 like full-on ones or just the nipples, but either way, it's kind of weird. You're right. It's kind of that's like sci-fi stuff right there. More sci-fi than Sharknado. I'll tell you anyway. Next question. Would you date? Now this better be an easy question for you. Okay, but let me read it out. Would you date a 16-year-old girl?
You mean now?
Yes, now.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yes, and neither would I. I mean, that would be just entirely inappropriate. Okay, next question.
Yeah. Listen, I know there's a lot of things I know and a lot of things I don't know. One thing I know is I am not suited for prison.
Right. Yeah. That's no fun. That's no fun. Okay. Okay. Next question. Random questions. Couple quickies with this. What dopey thing as a depressed teenager that you did makes you cringe the most? Oh, okay. I see what that means.
I was not a depressed teenager, so.
Yeah, that's the best answer you can come up with. That's the best answer that one could come up with. That's pretty good. So you didn't have to worry about that. Good deal. I would say poetry for my answer. Okay. Next question.
Poetry?
Yeah, poetry.
Did you have any of those poems?
I think I might. But I think I did that.
Nice.
I don't think I have the ones from a teenager, though. I did some poems when I was in college, so it's a little different. So I don't have the teenage ones with me, but the college ones maybe, yeah. So maybe I could think of one, but the short answer is no. I don't have that on me. It was embarrassing though. You wouldn't want to read it. It's cringeworthy, syrupy, all that stuff. You wouldn't want to read it. Okay, next question. Let's think. Okay, what is your favorite musical chord? Throw on the sevenths and ninths and whatever you'd like. That question from the marquee.
My favorite. What?
Like musical chord, like C or C7 or F,
yeah,
or F
sure.
minor, that sort of thing.
E sharp, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have fully admit to not, being a complete lover of music and the music that I like and that kind of stuff. But I also have always admitted I know nothing about the construction of music or how to read a note or what keys are what and who tunes and what guitar and what letter and all that stuff. I know absolutely nothing about it, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question if you're not familiar with like written music. So you're totally understood in that. In my case, I think I would go with F. I like F. Like songs in the key of F are good songs. Now I have to go back and figure out what songs were in the key of F. But I remember like I was trying to play like I would try to play the basic melody on the keyboard, and it would often start with F. And I know that yeah, I was doing a Rick Springfield song, and I remember it used like those black keys, so like the minor kind of a key. It was like like something like C sharp, D, C sharp, E sharp, or something like that. Anyway, whatever. F is my answer. Next question. Okay. Would you rather walk a mile over hot coals or endure an hour-long car ride with this idea after a heavy meal? This question comes from No Label Diet Coke.
Well, my personality, and this is an easy answer for me. I'd rather do the hot coals thing. I'm not much of as I currently am now. I don't like to share the car with other people. I don't really like to be in a closed space with other people. I'd rather, endure punishment over that mile walk, and I'm sure I'd figure some way to keep my mind off my feet burning and then deal with the consequences later.
Nobody said you had to be barefoot, by the way. There's a technicality I spotted in there.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I could wear you could wear just like foot thick shoes, and then they'd wear down if you get close to the end. A mile is pretty long.
Yeah.
Hot coals.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I too would take the hot coals. Yeah. I mean, it would just be tough. Like it would be tough. It would be tough to sit in a car with that much potential flatulence in play. So I will. Yeah, I'll take.
I don't even think about the gas part. I'm just thinking, you're fighting over what you want to listen on the radio.
Yeah.
If he's driving, I'm not gonna like it. If I'm driving, he's not gonna like how slow I drive. It's gonna be a disaster. So I'd rather just be alone with some hot feet.
Right. Yeah, because you can be more. You have more. There are more things about that you can be in control of. There are more elements to that you can have a hand in. There are fewer of those elements that. Yeah.
Heat on the coals in front of you and like get them cooler. You're much more in control when you're doing things by yourself.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. I mean, and I don't fault anyone who wants to do the car ride and with idea instead, because again, it's one thing to, hold to destiny and things you can control. It's another to endure pain. And it's a matter of, do you want to endure physical pain, or do you want to have to deal with mental strife instead, or like decision making, more stress in that area. I keep getting pointed in my head. So that's kind of it's just really a trade-off, and I've chosen the physical trade-off because I feel like I'm a fit guy, and I could manage that okay, and I think I could do. I would at least make a good name for myself trying that. Okay, great. So. Let's get to our next question. Random questions with Kevin on the Cape. At DipCow to tweet your question, or you can leave the question in YouTube comments, or you can go to blogtalkradio.com/DaveInCity and write your question, followed by the question itself. Okay. Next question, random questions. Kevin on the Cape. At DitCow to tweet the question. If you've got one for us. Okay. I don't really see anything at this point. All right, so let's see. What else is on my mind tonight? Just keeping tabs of what's on TV. If you had to select, this might be a blind question for you, but let me think. Okay, I guess I'm kind of not sure about that. I know that we may have asked you asked you about what your first record album was, or CD or tape. What's your next one gonna be? Like if you buy another album in the future, I guess it could be an old one, but let's try to get a new one if you can. What would be your next?
I have no idea. I don't know who's doing what.
Okay. I guess that doesn't do that very well. Who's
I got
gonna?
one for you. Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead. I'm ready. I am ready.
This might have two answers. From when you were a kid to as a grown up.
Okay.
But I was thinking about this today. You know how it's a lot of times you see with girls or with women, but there's like something that comes out on the market and you hear, I have to have this, or your friends have something, so you have to have this. If you can think back into your brain, like, was there ever like a product or an invention or something that came out when you were a kid and you made your parents buy it? Like, I have to have this. All my friends have this.
When I was a
By the same
kid.
token, as a grown up, grown up and you had your own money, and you thought of something different. Like, I'm just thinking about you. Like, if some sort of radio equipment or some sort of something where you're like, I have to have this. I have to. This. You stopped your whole day. I have to buy this. Was there something in that realm that fits that answer?
Yeah, when I was a kid, there were these shoes. They were called the Pump from Reebok, and it was such a silly gimmick, right? They were like basketball shoes, and they had this little pump on the tongue of it. Like the tongue that you fit your foot underneath it, so that it.
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah. Well, on the tongue there is this little rubber, this little plastic dome on it, and you could pump it in, and it's like a little pump, and it would add air to the bottom of your soles. And I mean, the whole thing was just really was a placebo effect, but it made you think, oh, you can jump higher, like, because you've got air on your feet, like it makes you bounce higher. But everybody wanted these shoes, and I definitely made my mom, or urged my mom, to get a pair for myself. And she did. She got me a pair, and so for about a year and a half, I had the Pump. It was awesome. Like, I was in the basketball court, all styling, I can jump over 10 people, and I had a good time with them. Now
did you jump over 10 people?
No, I did not. I could barely jump over the line, but yeah, that was a fun time. Anyway, today, I was on my path to doing something like that with a laptop. I wanted to buy a laptop to furnish this podcast, but I wound up figuring out a better system anyway. Like, I brought my work laptop to help facilitate the production of this show. So that's what I had in mind. The other thing I wanted to have, I gotta have it. I think I wanted to get a giant, and I mean giant, like giant flat screen TV, huge, like 100 inches. Like, that was the other one. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this. I haven't done it yet. Maybe I will. Because I feel like,
Right.
we have like two screens
That's
here.
kind of what I was thinking about that, because I asked one of the old guys who works for us that question today. I thought of it this afternoon, and it's different when you're spending your own money and not your parents' money. It's a big difference in that. There's a big divide in that part of the answer. Because you go, oh, do I really need this? I got rent coming up, I got this, and I got that. And when you're 13, and it's a little easier to go, Mom, everyone's got these. Come on, you got to buy it for me.
Very true. The way you approach each one is totally different in that spot. It's really cool though. I mean, I'm sure TV is a really popular answer among guys our age. So I figured that was a natural response. Junkie, what would your responses be when you were a kid? What was it that you really wanted to get?
That's the sad part. Like I asked the guy, and he's an older guy, and he was telling me about his story in like the '80s when the Walkman came out, and he's a big music guy, and he's like basically got home from school and was like, "You got to take me to the store. I got to get one of these. You know, you can listen to the music in your ears." And like it was so weird how he was telling the story of buying his first Walkman, and I thought that was kind of a good answer. Just he can go on his own, and he doesn't have to listen to records anymore in his living room. You know, he can listen to his favorite songs. You know, walking around the park, or whatever. So things like that came up. But the sad part, well, I don't know if it's sad or good or bad. I don't have an answer. I can't ever recall bugging my parents for anything. Whether it was some sort of, I was thinking about how I used to always play baseball when I was a kid, and it must have been something from there, but nothing ever comes out to mind, which kind of surprised me when I thought about it.
Yeah. Gosh. That's so but I guess that's cool. It shows you're well grounded. But now let's ask that question about today. Like, what would you want to get if you had the money for it today? Like, what's something that you feel like you gotta have?
Like a small hotel restaurant in the Caribbean. That'd be nice.
Well, that's a pretty ambitious request. I wish you best of luck. Maybe if a couple things break your way, if you patent some kind of food, and you might be on your way.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. That's a good one though. I like it. A Caribbean restaurant. Did you say that's in the Caribbean or just a Caribbean food restaurant? I just want to make.
No, in the Caribbean. I'm tired. Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Oh wow! So you want?
I could choose like a smaller. I mean, why choose the smaller? I could say, oh, I wanted just a vacation. So, you got to think.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
If I'm gonna look for something, it's gonna be a little corner, maybe a little bar with a couple of cottages down somewhere in Honduras or something.
Mm-hmm. That's a convenient segue. The next random question tonight, random questions with Kevin on the Cape, is from the Marquee. He asks, when is your next vacation and to where?
Oh man, I wish someone would plan it for me or get it for me. I haven't had one in a long time.
Ooh.
So there's nothing planned currently, but that would be nice because it's been a little rough lately.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I hope you get a vacation sometime soon, though. All right. Up next. Oh no, I gotta answer this too. My next vacation's Vegas next week. I will be there the 7th and the 8th. There with family, so that's where I'm headed. That's kind of a vacation. I mean, when you're a family, it's sort of a different dynamic. So they're not truly leaving reality. The best vacation is the one where you truly leave reality. Like you leave everything behind. Those are super vacations. Right. This is not going to be quite like that, but it's going to be a good time though. I look forward to it. Yeah. Okay. So next question. Here we are. Which 20th century decade, so we're going to limit this a little, which 20th century decade would you like to go back and live in if you could?
Oh boy. And you're sort of old enough to enjoy it.
Yeah, you're gonna be you. You're gonna go back as you are today. Like you're not gonna go back as a kid. Like you're gonna go back as Junkie of 2014. But you being your current age, you will go back in time to this particular decade.
And it's in America. It can't be in like Paris in the 40s.
You know what? I'm gonna make an executive. Yeah, I'm gonna say that yes. You have to be where you are now. Like in other words, just like Back to the Future. Like you can't just go anywhere in the universe. Like you have to be back in time in exactly the same location where you are right now. So I will say yes. Now you This question comes from No Label Diet Coke, by the way. Great question. And so, yeah, so with those two parameters in place, it has to be your current location. You can move, though. Like, once you travel back in time, you can go back to New York or go anywhere you want. But you can't actually just like, okay, I want to be in Antarctica. Like, it's not. We will limit you to wherever you are right now and to a location, to a decade in the 20th century.
I'm good. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm trying to think of myself as I am now. If I, geez. I'd probably pick the 20s. Oh, maybe not. That's a tough one. Kind of seemed like everything was off the wall then. Me being my age now, I'd be able to enjoy it. I don't know. Plus, it was the Roaring 20s, so I figured it would be kind of cool. It's got to be cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would seem so. I mean, it's really a very intriguing decade. I can vouch for that somewhat.
I mean, unfortunately, my age now was pretty close to the end of life expectancy back then, so I wouldn't have much else after that. So it'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you remember, as you do this, you're probably going to be more of an outsider and more of an observer. Like, I don't necessarily I wouldn't, like, in that situation, I don't think anyone would expect to be an active. I mean, you could be. And I think that's another wrinkle into the whole thing. So it's a good
Yeah,
point.
it could be like hanging out with Babe Ruth in the bar and drinking all night with those crazy people. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that does seem like fun. So the 20s, though, a lot going on. Like you said, it's very interesting. A lot of change underway. Exciting time. Music kind of sucked, though. I mean, it's like, like I don't want to listen to all of that all the time. But whatever. I mean, I think you can manage it. Okay. So, guy, I mean, you're really good at going big with these questions. I have a meager response to that. It's probably going to be the 80s. I've probably invested more research, personal experience too when I was a younger kid. I experienced the end of the 80s. I didn't experience the middle or the beginning of it. And I just feel like there's a lot of questions that I had in my mind about it that I'd like to learn. Like, there's stuff I want to know about. And there are like concert experiences I want to be a part of that I really feel like it could only have happened in that decade. Like the Police when they were together. That's a good one, yeah, right? Like that. Stuff like that. It would be kind of interesting. Be a little scary though. I'm not sure if I'd commit to the 80s as the decade because the Cold War was really just at its height. And there's so much paranoia about nuclear war back then. I'm not sure if I would commit to that. But I definitely would like to do it as an educational experience, and it wouldn't feel so bad because I know how it ends, right? You know, so I'm not so worried about it. But that might be my response because I feel like it's interested me the most forever, and it continues to. So that's that decade will be the decade. So the 90s would probably be a close second though, because honestly, that was really I just have nothing but good things to say about it. My childhood, it was a good time. I mean, there really wasn't anything serious. I mean, the O.J. Simpson thing, the baseball strike, but you know, it was a really fun time. I really appreciated it then, and I appreciate it even more now. Life was really good. So
I love how you call it the O.J. Simpson thing.
I know it was quite a I mean, I'm sure
kind of skirting over the fact that he cut two people's heads off.
No, I mean, it was deplorable. I'm not gonna just downplay that. I'm just saying, like, it happened. I mean, you don't want to remember it. It's not like something like you look back on, oh, remember then? Or it's like you really want
to stop him,
huh?
Or you're not allowed to interfere. You're not allowed to interfere like Back in the Future, so you couldn't.
Well, that's complicated, though. Remember how popular he was, though, leading up to that? He was really popular. How would that have happened?
Huge.
Oh,
He was huge.
people would have stopped you. They would have arrested you. They would have castrated you. They would have thought, how could you do that? He's such a great guy. And he was huge. Unbelievably huge. Can't you even imagine? But that was really a moment where you really peeked behind that curtain. Yeah, it would have been interesting. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, that was what I'm thinking. Like, if I tried to like tell the cops or something, they wouldn't even believe you. Like, you're like, you're out of your mind. You need to go to like the mental institution. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying this off the top of my head, but before that point, is it insane to say he was the most popular black man in America? I don't think that's crazy.
That's not that crazy. That's really not. I know when I was a kid. I mean, he was.
I know Michael Jordan. Yeah, Michael Jordan's probably number one. I take that back. But
No, but
he's
you
pretty-
mean, but in his time, right? Because Michael Jordan really became popular in the early 90s. No, 80s too. Okay, but
yeah, Michael Jordan. He's all right.
pre-Michael
O.J.
Jordan though,
top
it was definitely O.J. Simpson. But when Michael Jordan became a superstar, then I think there was no equal. Yeah, Michael Jordan today I think is well known around the world, and it's been like almost 15 years since he played. So he was a legend. So are we ever in consensus there? Will we say that Michael Jordan was the most popular black man in the history of America in a sense, basically?
Oh, well, I don't know about the. I was just saying in the early '90s.
Oh, in the early 90s, yeah, in the early 90s, yeah.
There's Jackie Robinson and Muhammad Ali. And
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't say forever.
before Thanksgiving a few years ago, Tiger Woods is up there, but
Yeah, Tiger
I know
Woods.
got shot to hell.
Tiger Woods, for about 10 years, he was really what it was all about. The guy was fun to watch. Okay, so let's get to our next question, random questions tonight. We've got about 7 minutes to go. Let's see how much of this we can do. All right. I think we've got time for one more. This is from a couple quickies. Would you rather... What the heck? Okay, the question is from a couple quickies. He asks, would you rather the girl of your dreams have 4 tits or 1 gigantic titty? Is it only one, or is it like 1 gigantic one and then like 1 regular one? Like, what is it? Just one? Is it like a uniboob? What did we anyway, how would you approach that if you could choose one of those configurations?
I'm gonna let the girl of my dreams pass on by, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's well. I tell you,
I'll go with the girl of my nightmares with 2 normal boobs.
Oh man, I don't know. It doesn't make sense with just 1. So I guess I have to go because it's an even number. I'll probably just go with a 4. So that got me thinking though. That was not bad. Thanks. All right. Well, that's that. It is a uniboob. Okay. Cookie says yes. It's a uniboob. If you were to choose that path, I will not choose that path. I'll go with the even number, and that's that tonight. Junkie, a lot of fun. Any last words before we log off tonight?
Yeah, enough with the 4 boob stuff. Let's just focus. That's.
I hear you. Not into it, right? I gotcha.
Right. We have enough. We have enough trouble locating and becoming friends with girls with normal boobs. So the 4 boob thing, I can't even wrap my head around.
All right, no problem. Oh, can I ask you one more question before we go? I have about a minute. I think we can do this.
Yeah.
When you do lobster dinners at your seafood restaurants, what is the size of the lobster you offer? Like, because I got a 2-pound lobster dinner recently.
Nice.
Is that a good size? Like, is 2 pounds a good size?
Well, where would you get? Were you eating West Coast lobster, or were you eating something that came from here?
I have no clue. I don't know what the difference is, so I'm guessing
Do
like
they have claws? Do they have big claws?
yeah, big claws. Yeah, definitely big claws. Yeah.
All right, they came from over here, so that's a good meal. The
Cool.
ones out there don't have the claws there aren't very meaty. No,
Mhm.
2 pounds is good.
Okay.
In a restaurant, you would get a pound and a half lobster, or a 2 pound lobster. That's your most common size. But in our markets, we cook anything from pound and a quarter to 20 pounds. But if you're out to eat, restaurants will just have one or two sizes. But in the markets, like I said, I cooked a 15-pound lobster for a bunch of guys last night, so they get pretty big out here.
Neat. What's the largest lobster that one could offer in that spot? Because I even heard that from our friend Mike in North Jersey. You could even get 6-pound lobsters for $2.
Oh yeah, I have 6-pound lobsters in the market right now.
Wow.
They don't. You have to kind of special order that at a restaurant. They don't usually carry stuff like that. But in our markets, in our tanks, we have huge ones all the time. The largest one I ever cooked for a group of people was, I think it was a 19 pounds. That was a few years ago. But yeah, that's just a huge animal.
Wow. 19 pounds of a lobster. That's pretty cool
Yeah,
that they
I'll tell
can
you,
get that big.
that sucker took a long time that sucker took a long time to die.
You would have to put that thing in a bathtub or a jacuzzi or something, right?
Yeah, that was not pretty.
Yeah. I can imagine. Wow. Well, I hope you have a chance to get some lobster this weekend. Junkie, it's really been a lot of fun. Have a really good weekend. Thank you very much for coming back, and it's good to hear from you again. Always a pleasure. Junk, man, take care of yourself. Let's hope we can do this again next week.
You got it, brother. Take care.
All right, bud. That's Kevin on the Cape, and that's our program tonight. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you to Kevin on the Cape and to the Marquee for joining us in hour one. Sorry for leaving you on hold too long, but I certainly was glad to chat with you. That's it for us. I'm Dave Medina. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the trade deadline. We'll see you next time.
So you wanna believe that the thing that you read and you think and you make in the grave. Just when you get anything, you're still in love with them. To the